I could tell you a whimsical tale that's probably very inaccurate. The Sensible Sociopath.
2, 3, 1, go.
Roma, the podcast is here!
It really never gets old.
Sorry about those jokes I said earlier about babies with both sets of genitals.
What does that even mean?
You know, I'm willing to risk my life for this podcast, Roma.
Ugh, that sounds insane.
I'm also willing to risk your life for this podcast.
Periods are not just for women.
And you'll get to red pill yourself if you choose to.
Come on if you're thirsty.
Take off their underwear and relax with their uncle.
It was kind of traumatizing.
White people are bad and do bad things.
How fast can I eat your ass?
I mean, you know, you look at me and you go, this is an international man.
My whole life is a sham.
And you can't get the white Oreos, that's racist.
I think I counted like 25 racially charged jokes.
White privilege allows me to turn off someone's headlights.
I was just being agreeable.
Roma, when was the last time you were agreeable?
It's been days.
Also, if you try to poop really hard, sometimes you'll come.
You would think that we'd have our shit together.
It's the enema for your face.
Yeah, I was gonna say cleanings for women.
I'm not a lady, Roma.
Oh, this is so gay.
Let's try to be inclusive, Roma.
What does that even mean?
I know these things, Roma. I know many things. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sensible Sociopath, episode 85.
Woohoo!
We are here live on a Friday night on YouTube, and then soon to be Rumble and all other the platforms, BitChute, Minds, all over. We have our lovely co-host, John.
Oh, what's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Hi.
And we also have Roma, who's dressed up as a corgi today.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, there was no judgment. I saw her in the outfit, and I was like, no judgment here.
No,
No judgment. You just relaxing.
Roma's
Fine.
really leading into the unitard.
Yeah.
Or, I don't.
The adult onesie.
Yeah, the adult onesie. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
The unitard.
And I support it.
Yeah.
In fact, I got her both of them.
You do you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Roma, you do you as I see fit.
You,
I mean, it technically is all your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I've created a monster. Monster dressed as a corgi.
oh, man. Yeah.
So, not a big week in the news.
No.
Kind of like 2020 was not a big year in the news.
No.
But 2021 has certainly been a disappointment thus far. If you're-
Guys, I have a story to tell you.
Okay.
So I was...
Finally, someone.
I was walking. I was walking, minding my own business,
Mhm.
right? And then suddenly, I kind of grabbed my chest a little bit and kind of leaned down off to the side and kind of sat down. And one of my coworkers came up to me, and they were like, "John, what's wrong?" And I was like, I feel like something terrible has happened. I feel like a million Q-tards suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
And what was this event?
Oh, well, they just big tech made some moves
Yes,
like they do.
they purged
At the same
system.
time-
Yeah.
They made some moves.
No, it was coincidental, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe that's
just absolutely. There's nothing to see here. There's
Yeah.
just nothing to fucking see here.
No,
there's-
they all
you know,
posted things that
Yeah.
broke the rules at the same time.
It's no problem.
Yeah, no
It's just
organization. No
see,
Melissas. Well, and also there was. I'm sure you're mostly referring to Parler
Mhm.
being completely taken down,
Mhm.
completely, which is a very interesting detail because we had a bunch of followers on Parler, and I liked engaging with people there because you could plan things and No, I'm just kidding, everyone. Jeez, disavow. But no, it was a great place to just go and
Have free speech.
pretty much, yeah. Obviously, if you don't want to argue with people over your beliefs, if those happen to be anything but super progressive, then you don't really have a lot of places to go that aren't going to be highly critical and highly volatile.
Sure.
So, and things like Twitter, I just didn't like fighting with people. So I didn't want to engage with people on there because that's kind of how you have to do it. You have to beat somebody over the head so that someone else will follow you because you're such an a-hole to that other person. So it's wait, I have to really F with one person to get another person to follow me. That doesn't sound like exactly how I want to run my life.
Right.
It has bothered me all week.
Yeah.
And it bothers me because if that's the standard, if you can like literally blow up Alderaan, like that's the reference I was making to people out there who aren't nerds. If you can just do that, blow up a whole planet, a whole platform for quote unquote inciting violence, then what in the shit are Twitter and Facebook still doing operating?
Yeah.
Like Antifa and some of these other groups, they've used that for years to coordinate riots and attacks and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's just like, well, wait a minute, but this is the problem, right? Like I've been trying to tell some of my friends that lean to the far left. I'm like, look, I don't care what your ideology is. Anytime like a political party essentially controls the media, social media, is aligned with big tech and the Hollywood apparatus and controls all branches of government,
There's a problem.
there's a big problem.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. Like, especially if they're not being responsible with it. You know what I mean?
And I think just the fact that you can look at that list of who endorses, or who all is collaborated in that cabal that are obviously people that you do not want to align your views with or should not align with your views if you are a person that enjoys, freedom and democracy and all those things you expose. And I believe that it's a convenience thing that, things like corporations will pick sides because they want to be on, the winning side. But honestly, it's just all about the money. It's not about their beliefs that they, a bunch of old white board members are going, this BLM thing's really, they're just like, let's see.
Where's the money?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we get that money?
Where do we get the most benefit from?
Yep. Fly the rainbow flag or like support this. Like we don't care about those causes or those people. Where's the money?
Yeah.
Like, will it make us more money? Like that's everything that drives everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, I was thinking about the whole Parler thing. Cause I had never been on Parler. Like, it's just like, I don't.
Hateful place.
Like, I don't. I'm sure it was terrible. I've never been on there. Like, I knew it's conservative Twitter, and I probably don't agree with everything that's said on there, but I don't agree with anything that's said on anywhere. You know what I mean? I got my own brain. Like, I don't need to be told what to think.
I had been on there a few times, and there's plenty of, liberal trolls and stuff on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't all one-sided.
I actually followed some of them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, that's cool that you're here. That's cool that you're brave. And, not that you're brave, because there's not a problem.
Being
there
on
are
the
people,
left, yeah.
Yeah, there are people that will be outspoken to you, but it's not like they're going to try to dox you and, find you and ruin your life.
Right.
Just like, hey, we disagree with you. What are you going to do? And most of them are just trolls. I'm sure they don't have a skin in the game. They don't care. If they actually wanted to hear their own stuff spouted back at them, they'd be on Twitter doing it with everybody else. And the funny thing is that they said that Parler was used to organize this, uprising, this, what I call a peaceful protest.
Mostly peaceful.
Yeah, mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Yeah.
93%.
Exactly. 93% peaceful. Actually, it's probably more than
Probably
that
more.
because I think there was like a
Half
quarter
a million people there.
Yeah.
And like only a couple hundred dodo birds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be like 97% since the 3%ers are the ones that are willing to start trouble?
And
Yeah.
And then
Probably.
again, half of those people were let in. So,
Right.
those other half of the...
Dude, okay, so that's the thing that because I haven't been reading the news since Jan 1. One of my New Year's resolutions is I'm not going to feed into any of this bullshit.
This is a rough year to pick to
I
not
don't
read
give
any
a
news.
fuck, right?
Yeah.
And so one of my clients came in and was like, "Have you heard?" And I'm like, "Heard what?" And they were like, "Yeah, like they breached the Capitol." And I was thinking like the local Capitol, and they were like, "No, Capitol with OL at the end." And I'm like, "What?" And like, so I went and of course looked at the video on YouTube, and you see, here's the thing: when 9/11 hit, like I just like everybody else, I was shocked,
Yeah,
right?
in the streets going, praise Allah.
Because I thought.
I'm sorry, did I misread that?
Yeah, not exactly.
Death to America.
But like I remember saying to myself, like, I was floored because in my 21-year-old brain at the time, I was like, I thought the Pentagon had like lasers and shit and like ways to vaporize human beings if you cross the line. Are you telling me the Capitol has like the level of security of a WNBA game. Like, what is going on? Like, just come right in.
Yeah.
Like, what's in your
Just a
backpack?
big group of
Oh, you're
lesbians.
good. You're good. Come on, just come on in. Like, I was shocked
Yeah.
that they
Well,
had,
I think everybody was.
like, what? But again, you have to think, like, did they know that was coming? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who knows what's true anymore? You can't.
Well, there is true none on the Shabbat pressure.
Yeah, yeah, that's real.
If we're talking about true.
It's a measurement. It's a measurement of you know,
Nice one.
it's how much is the dementia set in. That's what it's a measurement of.
Yeah.
Dude, I was telling Ron before the show started, like, one of my legitimate prayers, I'm not even kidding you, I straight up pray that Joey Biden makes it all 4 years. I pray it and I mean it.
Yeah,
Like, we do not want Kamala Harris to get the conch
Yeah.
on Lord of the Flies Island. Like, we don't, I'm telling you, she's not going to be responsible with it. She's going to kill Piggy.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to
She
hit
has
Piggy
no
in the head.
ASMR. Biden does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I hope for. And I part of me is like, I wish I could be so wrong about all of this.
Well, and I think Biden will decline at such a rapid pace, and I just hope he stays out front, like, so you can't hide him. You know, kind of how he hid during the elections and stuff. I hope he just comes out and just keeps saying crazy shit. You know, because he hasn't disappointed me so far. You know, he's just coming out talking about how just everything's race based, and like he's gonna help everybody who. Basically, he's just like, white man is the only. If you're a white man, it's not going to be good this next 4 years. You know, so which, you know, I mean, I don't identify as, so
Right. It doesn't
so I'm
matter.
good. Yeah,
There you go.
That's
exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've got my Batacath care. You know,
Fine. Batacaf.
Yeah. I'm hardcore.
Dude, like some of that, like clips, like right before the election of him, like, I'm 4 more years of Bush, and his wife's like, Trump, it's Trump. It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Sweet Lord.
You gotta be Bush.
I just,
yeah. Good
it
thing he
just-
had a doctor next to him.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Dr. Biden.
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Biden, there to lend care.
Yes, exactly.
You know, change the bedpan, help with the BM.
Doctor of
It's-
education.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So brave.
So I don't know, like what I've decided, like, and this was part of my New Year's resolution too, because I'm still like a nutbag that does New Year's resolutions.
Mhm.
So news was one. Right? I was like, I can't. It's all fake.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean anything. Like, and I still haven't read anything. Like, I occasionally might tune in on like YouTube where someone tells you something in passing, but like I
Mhm.
refuse to give one more click.
Yeah. You're a passive news.
Yeah. Like if I see a mushroom cloud come over the hills, I'll know it didn't end well, and I'll make sure to grab my crotch and hold my middle finger up, so like the people touring through will be like, "Well, that guy didn't give a fuck."
Yeah. Who's
Like-
Eminem?
Yeah.
His black T-shirt.
Yeah. Seriously, I just that was one of them. The other one was like being intentional with what I lend my energy to and what I lend my money to.
Mhm.
And money and energy are kind of synonymous. Like, and they big tech made it real easy, right? Like, I'm currently in the process of moving as much as I possibly can away from Google.
Yeah.
Like, they're on the medal podium of evil. They are definitely the gold medalist. Like, they're the Phelps. They're the
And-
Phelps of big tech.
Roma and I, you know, we started moving over to Brave for the show. You know, blocks your ads.
Mhm.
You can get crypto actually from your different, I guess, whatever sites you go to, they'll give you crypto. And so it's kind of cool that you can just attach a wallet and make some change while you're at it, you know?
Yeah. I
hoping
have
change.
I have Brave. I have DuckDuckGo.
I use DuckDuckGo.
Mm-hmm.
I use DuckDuckGo as the search engine and Brave as the browser. So
Okay.
that's my combination.
Yeah, that is
My 1-2 punch, I call it.
Yeah, it's a jab followed by the overhand straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-2.
So wait, how does that work? What's the difference between a browser and a search engine?
So the search engine is how it actually searches through the internet,
Right.
and the browser is the software.
Oh, so it's like
where the
Chrome versus
extensions-
Google.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
got it. Never mind. I knew that.
Yeah. DuckDuckGo has its own browser and search engine, but yeah. Roma, do you want to give a shout out to our audience?
Yeah, give me one.
We appreciate everybody
second
coming in
here.
and chatting with us. we are going to be covering, well, I guess all the craziness. I hope you guys have looked forward to maybe some comedy spin towards the things that happen in the world that are not always as funny on other shows, you know.
That's the thing. I can't take. It's like that clip from that old Men in Tights movie where King John's like, "Wait a minute, I have an idea. Why don't you give me the bad news in a good way?" It's just like
that's a really good movie.
Oh, I love that movie so much. And that's my approach. I was like, if I can get it on a comedic podcast or for some of these really clever content creators out there, like that is how I will get whatever news is, because I don't have the mind space nor the capability to like get depressed and sad and angry anymore. I just can't do it physically, so I'm just not going to.
Well, I think that there's an incentive to give you the news in the worst way, so you keep coming back, you know, and but also while telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah,
it's this weird kind of dance that they do.
And then the algorithms crunch numbers even more, and they give you, it gets worse and worse, but yet more accurate and more feeding that mind.
Whatever you're going to most keep deep diving into. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roman, do you want to?
Yeah. Let's see. We got Margot, Steve S., Sarah, Mitsuko.
Ooh, Mitsuko.
It's a slow chat night.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Dan's working, so.
Oh, my geez, Dan.
He's the worst.
Dan is the worst.
He was pretty upset because I had told him that you should try to come on the show, and he really, when he was watching our last episode, he felt like he really missed the boat on that one.
I was responding to comments, so if you do like the show, please like, comment, and subscribe. But I was responding back to Dan's comments, and he was saying that he was upset that he missed the clown face.
Speaking of which, Sarah sent me this article earlier in the week that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
So it seems...
I knew you did, so that's why I segued like that. I didn't know that.
It seems as though we've started a trend, you specifically.
Oh, really?
So shortly thereafter, two arrested for... Oh, hold on, let me switch cameras.
I can't.
Oh,
two arrested for outstanding warrant made at Idaho State House.
Okay.
So there had been what
couple of good-looking blokes.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Well, it says here, Boise, Idaho State Police troopers arrested two men Monday morning after they were identified as being the subjects of outstanding arrest warrants, according to news release. The men identified as Robert J.R. Jones of Nampa and David M. Pettinger of Eagle both had misdemeanor warrants for disturbing the peace. ISP said Jones was arrested as he stood near a small group of people at a tent in front of the Capitol around 10:39 a.m.
What a monster.
Anyways, here is the money shots. Where is it? Here we go, right here. Can we...
Oh, he's got the actual...
Yeah, let's see if I can...
Nice. It's really great of ISP to have makeup remover.
Yeah. He looks like he's laughing, too.
And I've always wondered about that.
That is great.
Looks like he's having a good time.
Oh, God.
I always wondered about that. If you had, like, something like costume makeup on, what would they do?
I mean, it freaks people out.
Yeah, that is fucking maniacal.
Did you see our last episode? Oh yeah.
No, I haven't had a chance to.
Robo, will you bring it up?
I saw the cover of it of the shot from the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Which was the actual shot from the Joker, but we dressed up.
Yeah.
And so
oh,
it was
man.
pretty fun. And actually, I was like, I feel so much. I don't know. I feel like better when I put on clown makeup, apparently. And you know, I've never done it before, but I was like, it actually feels pretty good. Like you kind of. So in the Joker, when he's finally like puts on his new face or whatever, and then he's like walking down and he's just smoking the cigarette with the cops running back because he had just, you know, the dude got shot in the train, and that's kind of how you feel. You feel like kind of badass,
invincible. I
don't know. It's just something changes. So it probably means I'm like a John Wayne Gacy type.
Probably. Yeah. I think that's exactly what that means.
Need to go find some of those gay boys, show them my magic handcuffs.
Easy. Don't tell the algorithms too much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, non-binary boys.
There it is.
See how you do that?
Yep.
So
good job.
So good.
Bible says two men ought not lay together.
But if you murder them,
Yeah.
Jesus forgives.
Yep.
So, yeah, so a lot of issues going on with the Capitol, a lot of fun. So apparently that guy
Yeah.
was involved in the shenanigans.
I don't know.
Attentive people. But yeah, dressing up as a clown. I'm glad I could influence someone
Yeah.
in such a positive way.
I just like, like these people that are, anytime someone protests, I don't care what they're protesting for. Like, there's always a part of me that's just like, I'm a little bit jealous.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous not for like what they're doing for the accolades or like what they're supporting. I'm jealous because I don't have the time to protest, and I would love to protest. Like in the most obnoxious ways possible.
I'm a professional complainer.
Like I would love to be like, yeah, that sucks, and be off of work and outside.
Yeah,
you know
just
what I mean?
booing people, and
But I'm too busy compiling tax money for people to give to other people.
I feel like
That's true.
protesting isn't as fun as it used to be.
No, there's a chance of death now, and that's not. I don't like that.
Or getting doxxed. I mean, you can't do anything now with anonymity, so
yeah,
it's like I know people are like, oh, I'm going to go down to wherever and protest, and I'm like, you're going to, and if you do anything, like if you stand out in a crowd, you will be on the news. I mean, I've known people that have been doxxed from group photos years later.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine that, I knew him through politics, but he ended up in a photo and he had a Trump shirt on, and people that knew him were being called out on Facebook for being his friend. And so they were pretty much socially forcing people to unfriend him, even though they hadn't talked to the guy in, 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's nuts. All right. And like, so in my house, as I've told you guys before, I'm like a huge anti-social media. I don't like it. I think it's going to destroy us all. Legitimately and seriously, it's going to ruin us. It's going to ruin society in the world.
Wait, what is? I missed
social
it.
media.
Oh, I can't wait for it to. I was thinking about that earlier too. It was everybody's being pushed off of platforms and being silenced, and nobody can say anything anymore. And I'm like, worst case scenario, we don't have social media anymore. And even if the internet collapsed, like we all survived prior to the internet, and I think life was pretty good. I actually preferred life before the internet, since it's gotten to this point. So I mean, like, we're all addicted to it, but we could get off of it.
I mean, but paper pornography?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what barbershops are for. I haven't had Facebook since 2015.
Yeah.
I finally, a couple months ago, deleted Instagram. Deleted it, hard delete, but got rid of it. Like, my family and I are all on MeWe, and we just have a private group that we share photos. Like, and MeWe's great because no ads, no spying, your data's yours. And they make their money on like they have premium content, and you can unlock features and emoticon packages and so on and so forth. Huge fan.
It's just a group chat thing, or is it?
It's like almost like it does have. So it feels kind of like Instagram and Facebook. It's like a mix of the two. The interface is pretty easy. You have groups like that you can follow, not like pages, but groups, and then you apply to be a member of the group.
You can use it to organize an insurrection
if you wanted, if you so chose. But they said they're very strict on like those types of things. Like they're not looking for. But again, like free speech. Like go here. You're not being bought and sold. Like my wife, I had been trying to convince her for years to delete Facebook. She finally deleted Facebook and deleted Instagram.
Good.
Like, because again, it's just like you have to, the only color that matters is green, and you have to take the green away from, which means taking yourself away from them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you need to stand up for something, and whether or not it's something as passive as just deleting those accounts, I think that it's a responsible thing to do, because we do not, if we don't band together and put something forward that is a direct statement, so they were talking about how they purged 70,000 users off of Twitter, in the whole
all the
Twitter
Q-tards,
apocalypse,
basically.
that and Trump and other, people. So we decided we're taking ourselves off there because, there's no reason they should be doing that. Especially when, they're accusing people of things that are, organizing, whatever terror and all that stuff. Yet,
well, I mean, the things that we say on here would get us in trouble right away if they knew what we were saying. So why should we be on their platform when we're saying things that they don't agree with?
Yeah. and you know, and that the other side of them are saying things like hang Pence and do all this stuff, and none
That's
of those
okay.
go anywhere, you know, or doxing people or, you know, any of that stuff. So it's just this double standard that I won't stand for personally. Like I have a better, I would much rather go to a smaller platform that allows anyone to speak, and you know, as long as you're not saying something illegal, then you should be allowed to speak. I mean, if you say something illegal, then that's what you get, you know. You get what you deserve.
Yeah, play stupid
But-
games. You could get to win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
I think I think it was the Netherlands. One of those places was talking about how they're trying to pass laws that the tech conglomerates cannot censor anybody unless it's something illegal, like they have said or done something illegal, but they cannot censor them. And I don't know what the penalty is if they try to do that. But I just remember thinking, sounds like that's something we need to do.
Well, and I think that there's also hate speech laws. You know, like Joe Rogan just had his he just had someone from the ACLU who, you know, helped defend neo-Nazis and stuff. And the guy was basically just saying, if you, I think he was an older Jewish guy, and like in the 60s, 70s, whatever, when he was, you know, just first getting going, he was talking about how he hated what those neo-Nazis were saying and stuff, or the Nazis or whatever they were. But he said, you know, they had the right to say it, and who's going to decide what speech is allowed and what speech is not allowed? Because as long as they align with you, you're okay with it. If they don't align with you, you're not okay with it. You know, hate speech is the speech you hate, not
Right.
the speech ever. You know, so you know, and I totally agree with that. Absolutely, 100%. And you know, I think it should be a battle of ideas. So if you're in an open forum like Twitter is supposed to be, an open conversation between people, that you shouldn't polarize people and put them in echo chambers and kick them out and force them into other areas with the people like them that they can't have those discussions with, you know, in that open conversation.
Right. Well, if you look at it from the planet blowing up standpoint, right? So they got rid of, you know, because at first my understanding of what happened is Google Play Store just like flat out removed the app. Apple was like, you got 24 hours, bitch.
Yep.
And then they removed it. And then Amazon was like, fuck that, and like blew the planet up. Like this pulled them off the cloud, took them off the server completely. What about the other innocent users that weren't doing any of those things? Like, did they deserve to have like the microphone ripped out of their face, or what?
Well, and kind of like you were saying with the interface of Weibo,
MeWe.
Weepoo.
Yeah, Weepoo.
Yeah.
I would join that one too.
Yeah, it's a different site. It's
different.
You got to pay for the premium. Yeah.
All right.
Facebook has groups. Twitter does not have groups. Parler did not have groups because Parler was basically Twitter.
Right.
So
It was a free speech platform of Twitter.
and you could not because they didn't have groups and pages, there's no like meeting place for people. So when they say it was being used to organize terrorism, actually Facebook and Twitter were some of the big places people were talking when they were at that insurrection, you know, the
So
mostly peaceful protest.
Steve S. just said that it was Poland that passed that law that will fine a social media platform $2 million for silencing true speech.
Nice.
That's again like, why can't like our country like get its shit together and do something like that? You know what I mean?
We can, but not with who's in office right now. And I think that was one of Trump's biggest failings was not tackling the issue with the censorship. Because
Section 230.
I mean, he should have. I mean, he was constantly censored, so I don't understand why that wasn't more front and center for him. And of course, they were going to kick him off the second he became, you know, wasn't president anymore.
And yeah, you know, trust the plans. What I say, no, you know, but I'm wondering if that is all part of like, you know, because he could have joined Parler, he could have done a lot of things, and I'm not sure why.
I think Trump Jr. was talking about making their own platform or something.
Yeah, or I was thinking something like that, you know, because it's like he had to be able to predict those things.
You would think.
I mean, you know, maybe they didn't think it would go that far. You know, him and his Project team, whoever they are, advisors. But, they definitely knew how people felt about them, for sure.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, so what's happened, in my opinion, from a business standpoint, is big tech has inadvertently or intentionally created pain points for digital media and social media consumers, right? So those pain points, in my mind, if I'm a business, is like people don't want to be monitored anymore. People want to be able to say what they want to say anymore. In a free market, man, like I guarantee you, there's people. I mean, like what you've seen, all these alternative platforms, BitChute, MeWe, Minds, like
Weepoo.
Gab.
Yeah.
Like Weepoo, all these, like our response to like, hey, like this isn't okay. Like, let's do something a little bit different. I'm sure like some of them are probably making their money on advertising and things like that because that's kind of how the social media game is played.
But decentralized.
Yeah.
Decentralized social
they've
media
moved it away.
Communications.
And same thing with cell phones, right? So like I've been looking at like, man, how can you get away from some of this stuff? In my quest to de-Google. Well, Google owns the world. So even your Apple phone sits probably ultimately on a Google server, probably, and your mail's getting read.
Or an Amazon server.
Right.
Oh,
as Parler
absolutely. Your
found
mail's
out.
getting read. Well,
And-
I really like it when they put that option in there, or it's got the predictive text, but only like it predicts like the actual words of the rest of the sentence.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's really creepy. But
Someone told me today, she's like, what's your instead of saying podcast, she said Pudcast.
Pudcast?
Yeah, PUD space cast.
oh,
And I was like, bah, ha, ha, ha. She's like, what? And I was like, wait, how often do you spell pud? Like,
That's
because I was thinking
funny.
the predictive text.
Right.
I'm like, so wait, you've used the word pud more than pod?
yeah, it's so
And she's a vapor too,
nice.
Is-
a vapist,
Pud even a word?
like a
Yeah.
dick, like an ugly dick.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what
a
that's
called?
Pudwhacker.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
never heard
Pudwhacker.
that.
Yeah. It's like a chode.
Yeah,
Okay. I
It's
know
like
what a
it's a
chode
pud.
is. A pud. I've literally never heard that term.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. But no, so if you look at like phones, right? So I've been on a quest, like, well, what can you do? Well, right now, obviously the big players, Google and Apple, right? In my mind, Apple you have a slight advantage / disadvantage in Apple because it's a closed platform, right?
What about Jitterbug? Have you looked
Yeah.
into?
Jitterbug.
Yeah. My Jitterbug. It's got 2 buttons. One for my granddaughter.
Go and push the buttons and call your granddad and your cousin. Only a couple of buttons, so you can't get away from Google. There's this place to go where no one
This
goes.
is you're really going with this.
They really put a lot of money into a very long. We didn't have to make it actually like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, right? We could have just 20 seconds. Yeah.
So I don't know what happened.
So you're getting a jitterbug.
I blacked out. Yeah.
Sarah said that she just learned something too, the pud thing.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys
Never.
are educating,
Mm-hmm.
changing shaping young minds.
That's right. That's where you get the real news, the hard hitting stuff.
So I looked at some stuff on phones. So Linux is kind of messing around with phones, right? They got like
About
kind
time.
of 2 ones. Like they got like the Pine 64, it's a smaller looking one. They got a brick looking one called the Librem 5, but that's like it's a legit computer. You plug it in your monitor, it's a computer. Like
Interesting.
like they don't have access to all the really cool apps. There's kind of like some backdoor ways you can do it from what I've been watching online. But it's really more of an early adopter, or like I'm a nerd that wants something cool that nobody else has. Like that's kind of where that's at.
Mhm.
But I'm like, man,
Yeah.
hopefully more companies see that, because like I don't know about you guys, I'm like, sign me up. Where is that phone that I don't have to play with Google or
Well,
Apple?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Android was that way for a while,
Mhm.
because it was kind of like you had your iPhones, and then you had your Blackberries, and then suddenly this Android thing came out, and
Right.
everybody, it
But
was
now
like this,
they're directly, the
Mainline.
Google, the Google Play
yeah.
shop or whatever.
Mhm.
It's directly involved with it.
And I think something Linux based would be good because you could get all the third party software, and I'm sure it'd be
Open
super
source.
flexible, open source. And actually, kind of speaking of the same thing, I've been looking into Bitcoin,
hmm
and so I've been wanting to look into it, and so basically what Bitcoin is it's a decentralized monetary system that uses blockchain technology, and the blockchains are actually, they're almost like DNA that's printed as to all of the transactions of that Bitcoin. And so when you, so it's completely traceable yet not traceable. It's
Mhm.
this weird thing where like when you own it, you get the blockchains. And I can't say that I understand it 100% yet. But basically there's a finite amount that are created. People invest money to buying, that, and it drives the price up and down. And depending on how the US dollar's doing, it may hold more value. While inflation, if you're just printing money, because I guess, 60% of all of the US dollars have been printed in the last year of COVID, that's going to drive up, inflation and prices and basically everything we were talking about on that Venezuelan episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been kind of wanting to get into that. So I invested like $530 in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 24 hours later, I was down to like $400. So the market
Nice.
just took a day. But actually, let me see what it's at right now. Just got to,
Yeah,
it's
it's
addictive.
kind of topsy-turvy. It kind of like surges and then declines.
Yes.
Surges and then declines.
That's
Yeah.
why I pay somebody to invest for me, because there's no way I could emotionally handle watching the numbers go up and down all the time.
Yeah.
Although I must say I'm really good at playing Dope Wars, and I can make a lot of money on it.
Okay, so it's $504.21 right now.
Oh, you're
Coming
almost,
back,
So,
baby. You're
yeah.
coming back.
It hasn't bounced, or it bounced up to like 537, and but
Like I'm in the
that started
black.
at
Oh
530.
no, never mind.
Yeah, for like a second. But it's pretty cool because you can buy all these different types. So like there's Ethereum, there's Bitcoin, there's Maker, Stellar Lumens, Ox, XRP, and they're all kind of a little bit different. And some of them give you, don't quite go up and down quite as much, but give you more steady returns and stuff. So there's different like styles of investing, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you can get a Bitcoin wallet that a lot of places will let you, or maybe not a lot yet, but will let you pay with Bitcoin, or like you can then transfer it into dollars and then pay with your dollars, or
Yeah.
basically like your PayPal kind of stuff.
Well, it's like so like I have a smartwatch and I can get Samsung Pay on it, and I refuse to do it. I will not pay with my phone. I will not pay with my watch. Like I just don't want those
I'm with
companies
you.
having that much control and access to my money,
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's interesting, so along those lines, is so when COVID became a thing, right? In my massage magazines that I get, massage magazines, as they, it's industry magazines, Steven.
I'm researching.
Yeah. Speaking of
What are you doing in there?
speaking of Steven, what happened to Steven Crowder? Where is he?
Oh, that's a strong point.
I went
Yeah.
looking for him yesterday. There were no podcast updates. There
Mhm.
were no YouTube channels updates.
So I know he was supposed to be off until the 1st, at least,
Mhm.
until New Year's, but it's way past then.
And he was parloring some. I saw him on there posting some stuff prior to it being taken down, of course. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know.
wonder
Maybe
if he's like
just laying
lawyered up
low.
and maybe he's tied into some of the. That's one of the things. I was like, he must have like something with the protest probably went sideways and like he's under.
Or I bet you he's just laying low so that he doesn't get, pulled like by YouTube or so, because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's always riding on thin ice. So, so he could just be staying silent for a little
Gosh,
bit.
I just thought that was weird.
Mhm.
But yeah, so in my massage like industry magazines, like with products and articles and everything else, they from the second like COVID hit and the lockdown, like all of a sudden it was like you need to be taking, Apple Pay, Google Pay, touchless payments. Like they've been pushing it ever since. And again, I was like, how did you? It's again like the issue that came out of my magazine. I was like, how did you know this was going to be like? Well, and of course in the article it was like, the cash could carry the virus and blah 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 blah. And then it was in the news, the cash can carry the virus, blah blah blah. And I was like, this is how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
This is how they're
The
going to
Great
do it.
Reset and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like the Great Reset was on the cover of Time magazine, and like you tell this to people, and they're just like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. Crowder tweeted on the 12th on Twitter, obviously, so he's alive.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's well, and the interesting thing is with that, so you're physically massaging that person,
Mhm.
but the money is
Is the
the
problem
vector
again? None
of
of it,
disease.
just like most code rules, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, and maybe they're just scrambling, because I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then not all, not big massage isn't really trying to, overthrow the financial system. And
Massage therapists as a collective, like we are just a bunch of dodo birds, dude.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of dum-dums.
yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I think everybody was trying to produce something that was helpful in a way, you know,
Right.
and so maybe that's the only way they could be helpful is to go, what are we supposed to do? I don't turn on a fan and then don't take the money from people.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I can't remember when was the last. I can't remember. Was I on here last month? I feel like I was. I think so. Yeah, I think
You
I
and
was, or maybe
Steve
it was
were
at the
here
end
at
of
some
November. I
point.
can't remember.
Yeah.
But I am. I did gain superpowers. I am Johnny Antibodies.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Like I apparently had it asymptomatic. Like when my wife had the Rona, like I
Mhm.
tested negative. I
I think you came here right after that.
Yeah.
Because I think you were like,
And he's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'm
coughing all
fine.
over the place.
Yeah,
Maybe we're good too.
I'm better.
Yeah.
But like again, like with that, so a lot of people are getting the vaccine and everything else, and like I kind of think that things are going to go back to somewhat normal. Fine if we don't kill each other first.
There's a lot of things riding on that.
That,
you
look,
know?
America, we just need to hold on until June, okay?
Mhm.
Because that's when, like, they've been ordered to release all the UFO information. So we need to just put the rifle down, put the protest flags down. Just can we hang on? So before I go, I can find out about all the aliens. Speaking of aliens, like the CIA has dumped like I guess like hundreds of thousands of pages like out to do the Freedom of Information Act. I can't remember the guy's name that like kind of forced the government's hand, but it's out there. If you go to the Black Vault and type in CIA documents, if you Google that, like there's like zip files and like tons of pages. And like I was reading the Daily Mail and they were talking about like some of the things they found so far, and it's crazy.
That actually sounds pretty fun.
I'm trying to like get my phone to successfully download it. I'm gonna have to probably do it on my desktop because my phone doesn't want to do it. But I want to comb through, and I guess it's like so much information.
It'd be like an episode of the X-Files.
Like there was some of the stuff that the Daily Mail was describing was just like people encountering beings coming out of a craft, like just tons of sightings all over the world, not just the United States and stuff like that. And I was like, they're prepping us. They're gonna tell us in June.
I mean, 2020 was a year of a lot of surprises, and like I said before, 2021 has not disappointed yet. So I'm guessing it's going to be a little. I don't know. I guess it's hard to predict what is going to happen because 2020 you're like, meh, what?
Yeah.
Like it's just like this, and then just over the top. It's been really interesting. And by the way, we've got some, because let's say one night a year they make all crime legal, right?
Ooh.
Purgy.
Sort of, yeah. So, you got to be ready, right?
Oh, yes. There you go.
So,
there's more to the ensemble?
well, I've got some training videos here,
Oh, sweet. Okay.
so we all have to train up for this
okay.
situation.
Perfect.
And then I also have a purge mask for you.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
nice. That's
So you
super
can-
exciting.
Just,
The Purge.
and then you
From
can
the
show
producer
everyone
of-
your great mask.
Paranormal Activity and Sinister.
Mhm.
One night a year, all crime is legal.
And then show everyone your mask.
With it.
See? Oh, look how tough you look.
and murderous. Hey, big boy, you ever been to the Capitol steps before?
I'll,
Do this.
I'll blow you away. Wait, I'll blow you
Do I-
away.
You want to dox me in a dark alley? Yeah.
Mhm.
Get it. That's fun.
It's a non-binary purge.
I like it. Yeah, I was like, meh. So no, all of this, the events, I just want it to all slow down. Like to your point earlier, Roma, like I told a couple of, I told Steve H this. I was like, I'm just pretending it's 1997.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
time
And
living.
Biggie just got shot.
Biggie just got shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Alanis was stronger than ever on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Gwen Stefani, yeah.
Gwen Stefani didn't speak.
Tragic
She
Kingdom.
knew what we were saying.
Yep.
So
Bush,
just out explaining. And don't tell her because it hurts.
yeah. Glycerine.
Like I just, life was good. Life
Mhm.
was good in
Life
1997.
was really good, and that was one of my favorite. Yeah, kind of.
97 was a great year.
It really was a good year.
Yeah, I think
That was my
7 came out. Was it
7 came
97 or
out?
Yeah,
98?
it
Something
did.
like that, yeah.
It did.
One of my favorite movies.
There was, yeah, again, we were watching Home Alone over the holidays, and like,
Not
my
Home
wife-
Alone 2, though, right? Because it's full of bigots.
we watched Home Alone too,
Really?
and no one flinched
Was-
in my house.
Really? Wow.
No.
Did you hear they're trying to get them removed permanently?
Yeah,
You know what's going to go up in price is all the original DVDs
I
that are
thought
out
about
there.
ordering it.
I thought about
Um,
ordering it too.
Now, it's hilarious that they can't see that that's exactly what Stalin and Mao and
Mhm.
Hitler did,
Yep.
trying to destroy and erase people out of history.
Yep.
They're trying to unperson people.
Yep.
It's
It's not a good look
no,
No.
It looks
for your
terrible.
side. Yeah.
Like, and one of my friends said, I was telling Roma this, like, one of my friends, a great friend of mine, like my best friend,
Quit bragging. Jeez.
told me,
We get it.
he told me with a straight face, I don't care how big the government gets because the government is there to help people. And it was right
Yeesh.
then I was like, there's nothing more I can do to help you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You are going to get everything you wished for and many things you didn't wish for.
Yes.
So by all means,
Well, and it's got to the point now where I've just started talking to people when they're, praising the government or, socialism, communism, whatever. And I'm like, imagine that you want those same things, but Trump's in control.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like you need to look at it that way. I know you hate Trump with every grain in your body. How
Mhm.
would you feel if we had those implemented
Yeah.
under Trump?
Yeah. Trump got to allocate how that worked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but again, people like, they can't get beyond that one step. Anybody I've talked to, like, and had kind of a political discourse with, they can't get past it, but it's not Trump. I
Mhm.
hate him. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Mhm.
But if you allow this to happen, this could happen. Well, at least Trump wouldn't be there. I'm like, again, they can't get past step one.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, and it's just like, I can't. I knew in my mind as like, I love that person dearly, but there's literally nothing more I can do to them. So the conversation, when it comes to that, is over.
Yeah.
It used to be cool to be a libertarian. Whatever happened to that?
Oh, dude, we're just like beta VCRs, dude.
Oh, and it used to be cool to be a liberal because you were for free speech and you were for the working class and you were for all of those, not oppression and authoritarianism, which is what they are for now. And I think that, and not all liberals, of course, like classical liberals, like the intellectual dark web types, they honestly, I believe, want what's best. And even though they may take more of a different approach to it than I would, or or other more conservative people would, I do believe that they are well thought. They are not spouting rhetoric. So one of the things that is interesting is that people seem nowadays to want to be coddled and safe and taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think the liberal or libertarians break away from that, section of society. And I think for the most part, conservatives want an easier life,
Sure.
than they did in the past. Maybe not quite a libertarian where you're like, let me have homestead,
Yeah.
you give me the deed to my land and never talk to me again. I'll send you some taxes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's it, which is a great dream, but a lot of people just couldn't handle that, couldn't support
Morose.
themselves.
Yeah.
And so instead they opt for the government controlling everything, and government is supposed to be for the people and not the other way around. So the government is supposed to be the ones that we control, that represent us, that we vote in and out, that do things for our best interest, for the best interest of the community, of the nation. And now it gets to the point where they get more and more powerful, to the point where you become dependent on them. And so with all these COVID lockdowns, with all these things going on, you just can't get I don't know, you just can't get free of it once it has a hold of you.
Yeah.
And it'll take something like Trump only further down the line, because Trump was a result of like Obama and Hillary and all that stuff, all that just crony crap that people got sick of. And so that's why we went with populist. So, the populists do not get along with the corporatist, the corporatist, like big government people that just use it to churn out money and
power and, power. They just, it's a power game.
The lobbyists, the military industrial complex. Yeah. War hawks.
Well, and something that you guys were saying about these people that want to be coddled. It's definitely reflective in some of the rhetoric, right? Like these people like, oh, I can't wait till Auntie Kamala takes over. Like
Right.
just by calling her that. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Just by calling her that, they're saying like, oh, I need someone to control and someone that's cool and can control. And then it could also like hurt the neighbor kids that are mean to me and make sure that I have my Woogie wrapped around me and my hot chocolate and all of my programming and all of the things that they can tell me and just and adding letters to the LGBTQ and I just can't give it all to me and snuggle me and crush my enemies.
Well,
like
and Biden's every speech has the word equity and inclusion in it. It's like, really, is that all it takes?
Yeah.
We're gonna give money back with equity to be the most inclusion. It's like, okay, thanks, dude.
Well, and like we've created these generations now, like 2-3 generations deep, of just these Peter Pan. I don't want to grow up.
Peter files.
Like I'm, like as far as like the phrase is like 30 is the new 20, 40 is the new 30, 50 is the new 40.
Yeah.
Like this refusal to let go.
Yep.
And this refusal to let go of like one of my friends one time said, someone's like, oh, I can't wait to get to tuck into my peanut butter and jelly Sammy. And I was like, I like literally on the phone. I was like, the fuck did you just say? And like, they're like, my peanut, and they got self-conscious, right? Like my peanut butter. I was just like, dude, you are 40 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Like, what do you, it's like, do you also jizz in your sandwich? Like, what is your problem? What is your problem?
Yeah.
Like,
be a man and eat chunky peanut butter.
And this is the same guy that one day was just like, oh, I just love the sandwich because of all the ooey gooey cheese inside. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Are you 6? Like,
yeah.
Ooey gooey cheese.
Who describes shit this way? Like, but again, it's this
You're
infantile.
Real pussy hound, aren't you?
It's this infantile way of speaking, and like they just refuse to let go. And like I said on my own podcast today, I was like, the boomers and Gen Y, y'all are made for each other. Y'all hate each other's guts, but you're so alike. You're so alike in so many ways. You're annoying in all the exact same ways. Like that's why it's gonna take Gen Z and Gen X to like right the ship, because like Gen Y, y'all are fucking stupid. The boomers, like they're just fucking stupid too. These are the same people that were just they're at Woodstock and they're spitting on war vets and these crazy assholes. To me, like that's what it's gonna take Gen Z, and I really think it's gonna be Gen Z that does it. There is going to be an unplug movement, and Gen Z is going to lead the charge because they're going to watch their mom and their dad and or whatever, like stuck to their phone with their face in their phone.
Yeah,
not
they're
paying attention.
non-binary parents.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't.
they're
You have to say this stuff now
parent.
because I just don't know. But they're gonna they see that, and they are the first generation, right? As the Social Dilemma, that documentary points out, that has grown up from like coming out of the womb already with the internet and social media already in place. Like, and it's gonna be those kids. Just like all kids do, they're going to look at what their parents did and they're going to rebel.
God, one could only hope.
I have my thing. I promise you, I think that's going to happen.
Well, and I think, this blockchain technology that they're using for the cryptocurrency, they actually are talking about blockchains for social media and things like that. So basically, you don't have a centralized hub of control. It's decentralized. So it's basically like a cloud, and that's I guess how they build their network. So it's like you can't cancel people. You can't.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's being developed, I'm sure, but it's also going to be one of those things that needs to be adopted, just like anything.
The guy that invented the internet has been working on Internet 2.0 for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's being like seriously rebooted, but it basically, he said he wants to bring it back to the Wild West old days of the internet when it wasn't regulated and you could do whatever you wanted and
like podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was saying that on my podcast, like the wild, because all my podcasts, what I've done is I wanted to kind of like, I've got my feet under me, and so what I did is I've rebooted my podcast, so I temporarily removed like the other 30 some odd episodes that I had, and so I explained like, hey, this is part of the reboot. What I'm doing, I'm going to splice in a lot of the material that was, especially some of the funny stuff that I said, into my podcast as I go forward. So almost like some podcasts will do like a throwback. I'm going to take that audio and splice it in and then use it and like riff off of some of the things that I've said throughout my show.
That's cool.
Some of it also was essentially is like, hey, like because it is attached somewhat to my business, because I'm also a licensed massage therapist, I was like, I have to go back and like re-scrub some of the things I said, pull the stuff that works, leave the stuff that didn't, especially some of the things I said in regard to the pandemic. It's not, podcasts are the Wild West right now. You can you're an asshole, you push record and you go. Like, you know what I mean? And like, no one can stop you.
Nope,
but that's
I know what you mean.
Coming.
Yeah.
Like, that'll be the next thing that they do.
Oh, they're already trying to censor Joe Rogan.
Yep. And he's the biggest one, right?
And once they get him.
Yep.
Well, and I think he's had a target on his back for a while because, of course, a lot of leftists will watch him, and a lot of the people that got censored first, kind of the canaries in the coal mine. So like Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, Gavin McInnes, all those people were on his show. Yeah. And so then they tried to pull those episodes, because I don't know,
Milo
because
guy, he's a savage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's so terrible.
That guy's a straight up savage.
He's funny. I kind of like him because he's, of course he's provocative. That's what he does.
Yeah, well, and that's what he calls himself. He's a provocateur.
Yes. And so why can't you just be okay with that? But the thing is he says dangerous things when you have certain ways of thought, like if you are trying to, say that certain people are bigots and racists and all that stuff. And you're like, oh, he's a gay guy who's married to a black man who says these things. And what are we supposed to call him?
Right.
And, yeah,
you just
I guess
cancel
you got
him.
to get rid of him.
Just cancel him.
So, it's kind of funny.
And that's exactly what they did to him. There, he didn't fit into a particular box that they could just scream racist or, homophobe. And so they were like, we just need to get rid of him altogether.
Yeah, they're like, can we go with heterophobe? They're like, no, that's too,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't lean that much towards the other side.
But that's what I'm curious to see how this all unfolds out in like arenas that we play in, like as far as podcasts, is like what's going to happen to what will be considered acceptable, what will not. Like, since it's tied to my business and I said on the podcast, I was like, look, I'm not being a chicken shit. I'm just playing close to the vest, man. I got a career. Like, I use obviously, John the Massage Maniac is not what's on my birth certificate. John Colette's a stage name. Like I separate my entertainment life from my personal life and from my, professional career. Yeah. But it's tied enough essentially that there's massage in it. So I was like, I got to play close to the vest, and like, we'll just wait to see how it all shakes out. And then that'll tell me what clips can I pull from my podcast to splice back in. Am I still going to talk about nerd stuff and UFO stuff? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to talk about all that stuff. But like, I'm temporarily until we see how it all shakes out, gonna probably steer clear of like politics, unless it's just in the most vaguest, most general terms.
And I think unfortunately that we have to talk about the things that shouldn't be talked about, So it's funny because like you're wearing a red, white hat you know?
Right. I just want to
And-
wear a Bulls hat, ladies and gentlemen, without getting beat the fuck up.
But that's what I'm saying is somebody
Yeah.
could see that wrong and then smash you over the head with something because that's just where we are in the world, you know?
Yeah. It used to be just like, oh, I'll beat him up because he looks like Fred Durst, and Fred Durst is a douchebag. Now it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, he's one of those.
Mhm.
Let's kill him.
Yeah. Who knows if he did it for the nookie?
Yeah. So you
Some
can
of
take
it,
that
all of
cookie and
it.
they'll literally stick it up your for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like at this point we have to push even harder, and that's of course where each person, how far each person pushes is totally up to them. It's totally subjective, but I think if you really, the way I feel about it is, if you feel uncomfortable, you're probably doing the right thing. If you feel completely safe and secure, you're probably doing the wrong thing, and you should probably think about that.
Right.
So if the reason why you act the way you do in front of a certain group of people is so that you'll fit in and not make any waves, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Right.
That isn't to say you aren't around people you agree with, but I'm just saying I don't like the easier, less resistance path, and I use my comedy to make that commentary and be socially relevant, just because I feel like it's my duty. I feel like it's what we have to do, and Roma and I could do a totally apolitical show and just talk about pop culture stuff,
Yeah.
and talk about movies, and talk about whatever, funny criminals and things like that. But I feel like we're at such an amazing point in history that really has definitely not been around in our lifetimes, and probably hasn't been around in quite a few lifetimes, that there's been such a power differential and such
Probably
a
not since
need.
the Civil War.
I would say that's probably true. Yeah, it's amazing what the world's going through. And Roma, or we pulled up some stories and things like the New York Post sent something out to their editors, saying not to use the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post as primary
Wow.
sources. That's crazy, right?
Wow. That's basically calling all those people, and that's
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
That's not good.
But I mean, do you disagree with any of that? I
No.
don't. And I think one of the problems with major media is that it writes a story, it attributes it to an unknown source or an anonymous source, and then they just use each other as sources. So you basically just get all this fake. Nobody's done any research, or it's based off of tweets, or it's based off of
Right. And they spin it
speculation.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they all spin it. So suddenly there's 10 stories about this one thing that's a bunch of bullshit. And it's amazing that the Washington or the New York Post is not going to be using them, because they shouldn't be. Those people don't do journalism
Yeah.
hardly at all. I've seen a few good New York Times articles in the past, I don't know, 10 years, it seems. I don't know.
Again, there's a pain point there, right? Like the New York Post has recognized people want to hear the actual news.
Mhm.
Like, how can we address this pain point?
Yeah.
Do
Well,
not
and they're
use
the-
these other liars,
They're the ones who broke the Biden laptop story.
right? Which was suppressed.
Yeah,
And
and then
completely suppressed.
yeah, and then they were kicked off of Twitter for
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, until they took it down.
Mhm.
And then guess what? After the election, suddenly, hey, there's this connection with Hunter Biden.
Nobody
to the-
knew.
Yeah, exactly. Who knew this? Everyone.
Everyone that wasn't paying attention to,
Mhm.
MSNBC and
Yeah.
CNN
Or was
and
paying attention to anything other than that.
Right.
And any relevant news source that
Mhm.
actually does journalism, that actually looks into a story based upon the evidence and
Right.
not who
the narrative.
Yes, exactly. Not the narrative. Good. Yeah, it's amazing. And then there's this other one with Sean Hannity. Probably the worst thing that's come out of all of this is he got his never-ending pasta pass revoked.
Yeah, that's pretty tragic.
Yeah, from Olive Garden. So it's just what a cruel
But,
world.
I mean, like, got him.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? It's just like,
Yeah.
It's just like, boy, you showed him, didn't you?
That's right.
Like, you tell me he can't whip out $3,000 and like some local manager in like the middle of like the country is gonna be like, just go ahead and give him his unlimited
Yeah.
pasta.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Like, give me
And
a break, dude.
Actually, not to besmirch Olive Garden, he is still welcome at Olive Garden. This was a joke. I guess it was a Twitter joke or
was it?
something.
That's
yeah,
funny.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
But and it's funny because he says, "I love Olive Garden," said John Hannity, discussing the restaurant with the same fervor he uses to tout QAnon conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So basically, he's as passionate about loving Olive Garden as QAnon being bullshit.
Dude, you know
So-
what cracks me up about the QAnon people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they're a little scary. But what cracks me up about them is like, if they're gonna be right, man, it better happen between now and Inauguration Day. Like, and I will take back everything I've ever said about them. Because again, like
Yeah.
I think I told you guys last time, like I think it's just either like a government psychological operation to collect who all the crazies are, or
Mhm.
it's a real clever, like, hero of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
like that probably lives on 4chan or something like that, like that doesn't want the glory or the credit. He or she just wants to go to bed knowing, like, look what I made all these fools do. Look at how much I control all these fools.
Well, and there's this there's a lot of good there's people out there that say that they know who Q is. I'm not sure, or they think that they do, that they know, like, these higher level intelligence people. And so I guess it's I've read some of the stuff and it seems like it like fits together. Like, I don't know what,
It's
I'm not saying
definitely
that it's,
interesting.
yes, I'm not saying that's true, but there seems to be some sort of organization to it that is higher level than you would,
See, I think it's an algorithm that like kind of pulls from the whole internet and like kind of like you can like, hey, here's an algorithm to write a Shakespeare play.
Mhm.
Like, and I think it works like that and just pulls these facts,
Yeah.
splices them together in a really creative, interesting way, and like the people are just like, oh, it's a new proof. I gotta solve it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like it's.
And then they just sell T-shirts. Like, that's the
So like what they got their logo on the back of the
Yeah.
cars and stuff like that. And I'm here's the thing, like when it first came out, I was like, this is pretty interesting.
yeah.
It's
And
definitely interesting.
And then I started like seeing all the people commenting, like, dude, this is attracting complete psychopaths.
I mean, who doesn't love a good conspiracy theory,
Like,
though?
I like
Yeah.
a good conspiracy theory, but like there is like a healthiness to it. Like
Mhm.
if you're just like living by, it's just like, dude, you need to like
Well,
back off.
and you can see the people with like them all in their bedrooms and then like string between
Yeah.
every story. And so, like, I could see people like that being obsessed with this because honestly, they are just super obsessed people with what this is, but they really believe in it. And look at the Capitol right now. There's what I think they said 20 to 25,000 National Guard troops are going
Mhm.
to be in the Capitol
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
with fully loaded, ready to rock and roll. This isn't a peacekeeping mission. Why are they there? Why are that many there? That's 5 times the amount in Fallujah.
Right. And it's just like, well, what are they waiting for?
Exactly. So what do they know that we don't? Like, I don't know. What sort of intelligence do we have? What sort of, I don't know. I have no idea. And the funny thing is that all these things like the Donald.com, which is the biggest like Donald Trump fan site.
Yeah.
It was on Reddit and then got kicked off of Reddit.
God forbid.
Yeah, because of all the hilarious memes. But they completely disavow it. They're like, nobody's planning any revolts or any, so we don't know what you guys are doing. Like, we don't know
Yeah.
what this is about. And then they're also saying like, oh, there's going to be, violence at all 50 state capitals. It's like, says who? Like, where did this all come from? Because I mean, I'm not that I'm like really in that, but I haven't heard anything. Nobody I've talked to has said, hey, you're going down to the Capitol.
Yeah.
Just nobody said that.
Yeah.
So why is this the belief? Is it gonna be one guy in a Joker costume and then like 3 people standing around with cell phones?
One guy in a Joker costume, and
Did you say Gina?
One guy in a China costume.
Yeah, in China.
They already did that march. They already did that one.
One guy in a Joker costume and 3 Antifas dressed as Trump supporters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
dude.
just a Trump sticker on the back of their helmet.
I just, who knows, man? I get, again, my thought is like, dude, can we just get past that day?
It was the Babylon Bee had a meme, and it was like Trump supporter dressed as Antifa, dressed as Trump supporter, raids Capitol, or it was.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's because I mean I know there was totally Trump supporters in there.
Yeah, of course there was.
But they weren't the ones that were like. They weren't the ones who knew what they were doing.
You could tell the ones that weren't.
Yes.
They were sloppy and dressed all in black and had, hammer and sickles tattooed on their hands, NBD.
Well, and there was a guy, there was like this meeting and they had like maps of the Capitol and stuff. And they're like, it looked like people who had been like, professional, protesters or whatever. It's not like just people like you and me and we're like, hey, let's go take pictures at the thing.
Well, honestly, I think if I had been there and everybody was walking in the Capitol and it seemed like shit was pretty legit, because I know the cops were letting them in and stuff. I mean, I could have easily have moseyed on there in there and been like, oh shit, this is cool. Like, never been in the Capitol before, and then now you're domestic terrorist because some people walked in and the cops let you walk in, and
they're even trying to trick. So they did the blacklisting off the planes. They're trying to blacklist them off of airplanes. They're trying to blacklist them off of trains too. So Amtrak is trying to put you on a no rail list.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's really
super creepy.
Again, we live in like this is the weirdest.
Well, and that's what they've been doing in China. Like you have, I forget what they call them. They're like some type of point system, like
a social media credit score.
It's yes, exactly. It's like a social status credit score, and it depends. It's like, can you get a loan? Can you get credit? Can you, and they're doing it now. Even they're already starting to. I think, who was it? One of the banks said that they wouldn't let Trump bank with them anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't process credit cards with him.
And there's another bank that's saying that if you don't wear a mask, they will shut down your account.
Yep.
It's like, wait, no, you won't just ask me to wear a mask or ask me to use the drive-through. You're going to just close my account.
Or are you going to give me my money? I mean,
exactly.
Do you have enough money to pay me out there? And
yeah.
How does that even work?
Yeah, it's amazing.
But again, there's people are just like, nothing to see here. Everything's just fine.
Yeah. Oh, no, because I'm not the one that they're coming after. And that's the part about speaking up.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like if you don't fight for the people that are being oppressed right now,
wait till they come for you.
Yes, exactly. There's that old saying, when they came for this person, I didn't say anything. And when they came for this person, and when they came for this person, then when they came for me, there was no one left. It's exactly true. So you fighting for every step of the way is, that's the important stuff. And that's why I think it's great that we're talking about this stuff, because honestly, I don't have too much to worry about right now. Not all that controversial, but I will keep speaking my mind. And what are they going to do? Fucking shut us down? Like we put this shit out there for free. Hopefully some people donate to PayPal or Patreon. But it's
first they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unions and I did not speak out because I was not a trade union. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me.
Mm-hmm. And who's that from? Version of the Confession in English.
It's
Holocaust Memorial Museum.
It's called First They Came For. It's a post-war confessional posed by German Lutheran pastor Martin. I don't know how to say his name.
Niemöller?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. So basically his regret about the Holocaust was not saying anything. And yeah, that's exactly it. And you look at, so you guys brought up the social credit score. North Korea has a very similar thing, but I think it's more based on historical, like your family, how your family has supported the North Korean dictatorship.
The
I don't know.
sins of the father shall be passed down onto the son.
Yeah. And well, 3 generations. If you run away, I think the generation ahead and below or something, they punish, send them all to the gulags or execute them, basically the same thing, just whether or not you have to break rocks for 10 years before you get executed.
Mhm.
Well, and what's scary is there's people on both sides of our political aisle in the United States that feel like, hey, we're going to execute a bunch of Republicans today. Or, hey, we're going to execute a bunch of Democrats today. There'd be people to show up and cheer it on.
Well, yes, there could be.
And that's just terrifying to me.
I think there would be a lot more of one side than the other because, all right, I've heard this before, but conservatives believe that liberals are misguided or wrong. Liberals believe that conservatives are evil.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference in outcome there, in what you should do with these people,
Yeah, definitely.
and that's just the way it is. I think the liberal side of things goes to the authoritarianism, and China and North Korea, and they're all great examples of what happens. And actually, what's funny is they were saying, somebody was saying that this what's going on in the Capitol right now is they're like, do we live in South America? They're like, because it really looks like a South American coup d'etat. They're like, so there's an election that is highly,
Contested.
There is one being ousted off the public platform. There's a military takeover. There was an attempted insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, now they're impeaching him again.
oh yeah, impeachment of the sitting.
What
Yeah,
a fucking waste of time.
it's just like, wow, that is when you put all those things together,
It's pretty wild.
it's an interesting situation. Yeah, the media is lying about
Well, yeah, and like shutting down entire platforms and stuff. You
Yeah.
just get Amazon, Google, and Apple, and somebody's just put out of business forever
yeah,
in the course of 2 days.
yeah, it's amazing.
And that's not a free market, I could tell you that much.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm not home right now. Walking on the spider web. Leave a message and I'll call you back.
Simpler times.
It's 1997. I don't have any social media
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I just seriously, that's right now. Like, I think that's anyway. You have to take money out of the big tech's pocket to get it to stop. And like, if everyone was just like, you know what, no, social media will be like, well, wait.
Well, I was actually shopping online for a laptop the other day, and I'm like, well, I don't want a Chromebook. I don't want Apple. I don't trust Windows, and I don't like I don't like the interface anymore, anyways. And I'm like, what do I get?
You could probably get like.
Speak and spell.
That's wrong, Roma. Where's your Wi-Fi password?
Weepoo requires your password.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, unless you have somebody techie around you that can put like Linux on or something, it's like, I just don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what recommendation would be, like, find somebody that would know how to do that and just like get them to put like a different operating system on there.
Mhm, yeah.
And like I'm sure there's plenty of open source stuff that would work with Linux as far as like, docs, sheets, PowerPoint, like replacement. Like I'm sure
Mhm.
there's plenty
Yeah,
of
I'm sure there's
open
too.
source stuff. Like I found a really cool one called Only Office. It's like older, but like you can like open,
I like only Orifice
yeah.
better.
Yeah, I do too.
Mhm.
Just one place. Just one place. You just go to one place. And that's where that's your food hole and the pleasure hole, I guess.
Yep. Same thing.
I learned so much when I come on here. It's a good time. But yeah, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Just pull as much as you can. You can't escape it all, but like pull as much as you can off of it.
Yeah.
And support the platforms and
Well,
put
that's
your
the
energy
same-
where they're doing what you want.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with the cell phone thing, I'm like, I don't want this stuff on my phone anymore. I don't want, and it sucks because like, so for instance, Google is so handy and like, it's got I use DuckDuckGo, but because it's an encrypted search engine, you can't use your voice to text button on it. And so I can't like, a lot of times I'm just all like, what's the definition of hierarchy or whatever, it doesn't even matter. And it'll automatically just tell me, it'll pop it right up. It'll tell me, read it to me and everything like that. Well, I can't do that with DuckDuckGo. And it's just annoying because I want those same, options that I have at these other ones that on something that's not fucking Google.
But that's the problem is that, it takes something that's been so overdeveloped. But I guess that's the good part about open source software is that anybody can work on it. It's just there's not that incentive for people to work on it as much because they're not being paid for it.
Right.
In certain cases they are, but for the most part, it's really just people doing it as a project out of a love for this. And it's kind of the reason why communism doesn't work. It's like communism versus capitalism, that you have open source. It's like, well, why should we make it better? It works fine. And that's why all the cars
we already
suck.
have Google. Yeah.
Right.
And we already have Google. So,
well, but then capitalism is Google, where they're like, oh, if we put this, they'll do this. And then we
Right.
can get this. And then we can, Amazon. Oh, if we're always in their face, make buy now button.
I went to Whole Foods today and they've got their Amazon thing. So you scan the app and it gives you like 10% off of like their sale items, which isn't a big deal, but 10%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and then the next day, so I guess this was like 2 days ago, the next day I'm looking at Amazon and in my Whole Foods app, it's like buy again. And it's like showing all the things that I had just bought. And I was like, that's creepy. Like, I don't want them to know what I'm buying. I mean, I realize that I'm giving them that information at the same time. It's just like seeing it was so much more icky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think now after this, it's really easy to feel that way. Like, honestly, I used to buy something off Amazon almost every day.
Yeah.
And now it kind of turns my stomach because I'm just like, because I guess I've been completely affected by their actions of censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like it's just the start of something that's going to get worse and worse. And if I support that, then I am accountable, for allowing that to happen in whatever way I do.
We are at the end of the show.
Well, I mean, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
We got in the bottom of a lot. We poo.
We went in the only orifice.
Ooey gooey cheese.
We got in there.
Open orifice.
Hooey gooey cheese. If I was dating somebody and they said that on a date, I would walk out.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I was just like, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it was said like to be an actual joke, that would be one thing. But if that's just how you describe cheese, like in a general like way, no, thank you.
Yeah. It's not really sexy.
No.
Yeah,
Major
it
turn
was like
off.
it was like I was like sitting there and I was looking at him and I was just like, I couldn't even respond. Like it was that like just like conversation jarring. You know what I mean? So couldn't respond. But
so you got any plugs? Any place we can check you out?
you can follow me like nowhere because I don't like social media, especially right now. You can, if you want to hear what I'm doing podcast wise, you can subscribe to the Massage Maniac podcast, and that's pretty much wherever podcasts can be found. I also do improv with an online improv troupe called Insert Foot, and you can find that on YouTube. I think we're on BitChute as well, but essentially we just do audio improv, and then my buddy animates it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yep, it's a good time, but that's the only stuff I'm working on right now at the moment.
Awesome. Well, you can check us out on
Instagram.
Yeah.
That's like it.
BitChute, Rumble. We are also as Roma mentioned, Instagram. And then we also have Minds. So Minds is it's like an independent Facebook kind of. It's really cool. I actually really like it. So I think it's kind of my new Rumble. And then also Gab. You can check us out.
I haven't checked out Gab.
It's cool. They're both. Gab is completely independent, so it's completely decentralized.
They have their own servers.
Yeah, not Amazon Web Service, not Google Web Services.
I actually joined them a couple of years ago, and they were sending emails as they were providing their own servers for such a day as this. And but I had tried to sign on recently because I never actually used it, and I think their servers were overloaded. I couldn't get it to load, but.
Yeah, and so yeah, if you can subscribe to us on Rumble and all that, that'd be great because we get some monetization also in Minds with Minds Plus. So that's pretty cool. You can donate with PayPal and stuff. We'll have the links below this video or all of our videos. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to support the Empire. But otherwise,
I think every time you log into YouTube, it should go.
Exactly. Paladin and Emperor Paladin. Yeah, but thank you for being here, John.
Yeah, thanks
always
for
a
having me.
pleasure. I'm sure we'll have to have you on soon again when the world continues to turn into wherever we're going.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's a great place. So
Good night, you guys.
Word.
Best podcast in the world.
The world would not be the same.
I like it.
No wonder my anxiety's so high.
Few people laughed. Few people cried.
Oh, what's in the box?
Most people were silent.
And that was it.
Now I am become death,
Sounds like a bad time.
the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem like a great idea to me.
I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
You didn't tell me any of that. That's crazy.
Well, Rama, when you're a hero, you don't tell everyone until you're on your podcast.
I'm about to hear some shit.
We all need to laugh.
I think just sitting down and, listening to
The Sensible Sociopath. This is the shit you're supposed to be watching.
Gen X is gonna love it. Millennials are gonna be like, I'm offended.
You have offended me.
Also, my dog has a giant dick.
Oh my god, that's enormous.
I love it.
It's still a racist dog whistle.
Where you kind of have like a rotating cast of characters.
We're talking baby seals, eagles, wolves.
I'm just glad we're not going to have to eat with racism anymore.
It's worse than the butthole.
We're technically considered propaganda.
It is very contagious.
I think we really need to talk about environmentalism.
Like, are they studying pine cones?
Make yourself a nice stingray omelet. That's how Steve Irwin died. Cholesterol.
It's fucking delicious.
His father had ended up killing his mother and committing suicide.
In that order?
That's diabolical. I like it.
They had an apple gun where you could shoot Bigfoot.
Has she always been retarded?
I mean, she could have had a head injury.
You don't know anything about tartar sauce.
He had picked up a 400-pound statue and was like walking around with it.
Was the statue racist?
I'd like to think so.
It's like how they invented bacon and avocado to make a turkey sandwich tolerable.
I have a fear of fire.
Like a werewolf? Daniel, you've been our greatest viewer. Well, Daniel and Sarah and Katrina.
Daniel!